It's been 10 days since the news broke that The Acolyte, the biggest Disney Star Wars failure we've ever seen on Disney Plus, had been canceled, and rightfully so. The $180 million catastrophe, led by Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, had the lowest viewership of any Star Wars show we'd ever seen. But despite that, the mainstream media, just like they've done the entire time, tried desperately to cover for The Acolyte, while the fan base, the handful of them that actually existed, tried to convince themselves and everyone else that, well, the real reason it was canceled, it can't be because no one watched. It has to be because that small group of people that don't like Star Wars out there, that's the reason it was canceled. Well, then the truth came out. We had the reports from internally at Lucasfilm that this was a massive disappointment. Viewership was so low, they couldn't justify renewing this. It had nothing to do with YouTubers not liking the show. If that was the case, things would be very, very different at Disney Lucasfilm. But people were still wondering, when are some of the prominent stars going to speak out about this? We know Manny Jacinto posted something on Instagram. We know that Rebecca Henderson, Leslie Headland's wife and an actress in this show, also decided to blame the fans. But what about the star? What about Amandla Stenberg? I'm sure she'd have something reasonable to say, right? Well, Amandla Stenberg has finally broken her silence about what happened to this series. And do you think that maybe there was some perspective like, hey, we thought we made a great show, but unfortunately no one watched it. It's sad to see it go. Do you think that that was the way she went about it? Or instead, did she not mention anything about the way the show performed and decide to attack fans once again? I'll give you two guesses, but I don't think you need that many. The Acolyte's Amandla Stenberg opens up about the vitriol towards canceled series, and specifically the bigotry and the racism, the misogyny, those terrible alt-righters out there. They're the reason our show got canceled. Amandla Stenberg says The Acolyte being canceled was not a huge shock after a rampage of vitriol from toxic Star Wars fans. It's just so tiresome, isn't it? Hearing the same thing every time we see one of these projects end up falling flat on its face. They tell you, if you don't like it, don't watch it. We don't need you as fans anymore. And then inevitably when no one watches it, and the people that do think that it's hot garbage, well, they turn around and blame those exact same fans. And that is what is happening today. Amandla Stenberg over on Instagram posted some stories. The same Amandla Stenberg who halfway through The Acolyte's release decided to put out a diss track slamming Star Wars fans, saying that you're just racist if you have a problem with the series. Well, she decided to double down on that. She posted about an 8-minute long video, and I'm certainly not going to watch that entire thing. Most of it is just her talking about, hey, I'm glad that we had so many fans that were sending me different images and fan art and shipping things and blah, blah, blah. But of course, she had to get into those fans that are the reason that it got canceled.
A rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and when no one had even seen it. And that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us.
Now, bigotry, vitriol, prejudice, hateful language, how many buzzwords can we fit into that one sentence, I wonder, right? Maybe she had them written on a cue card before. She is an actress after all. She even said at the start, I hate talking off the cuff. I hate just actually expressing how I feel about things without a script. Very normal and healthy, I'm sure. But when you do look at the way this show's been criticized, there was some criticism in the beginning. If you remember, the very first thing that we heard about this show, in the aftermath of the failure of the sequel trilogy, we heard this: female-focused Star Wars series from Rushin Doll's Leslie Headland, the works at Disney. So there was some people that questioned, one, why is the only thing you know about this show that it's female-focused? After the failures of the sequel trilogy and all the criticism that followed it, this is going to be the first thing you announce in the aftermath of that, along with the fact that Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant is the one that you're hiring on. The same Leslie Headland who deleted a shitload of tweets right before this got announced. I wonder what all of those said. So people were questioning, what exactly is this going to be all about? And then before the show debuted and we started to hear what the cast and crew had to say about the show, it was clear the focus was not on Star Wars. Instead, the focus was on virtue signaling, identity politics, representation. You had these people standing up at Star Wars Celebration that had no idea what Star Wars is, but they were very concerned about the skin color of all those involved with the creation of this show. And Amandla, I'm sorry, but if you think that the only people that didn't like this show are, it's just toxic, hyper-conservative people like that, no, that's not how something like this happens. That's not how you end up with the lowest viewed Star Wars show by far, by a big margin, and it's not even close. That is a cope. That is, once again, these people not taking responsibility and ownership and understanding that, hey, people didn't like the fucking show. People didn't watch. It's okay if you think it was good, both for a fan to say that and also for Amandla Stenberg to say that. And although I think she gave a horrific acting performance in both of her lead roles, the root cause of this failure is the writing team. You can have the best actor in the world that might give a compelling performance, but it can't fix a writing issue. And that at the core is what the Acolyte had in a major way. She would go on specifically to say it must have been the alt-right that got this show canceled. They're the ones that targeted us.
Despite and in the face of all of the vitriol that we received and the targeted attack, I would say, we received by the alt-right, just that you were deeply loved and appreciated.
That's her talking to the few people that actually did like the series, the people that have started the petition to renew the Acolyte. But I'm not sure if this gives them much hope after Amandla Stenberg comes out and says, I wasn't really surprised. I wasn't surprised it got canceled because of the hatred we received right up front. Nothing about the viewership, nothing about the actual overall reception of the show. Complete and total denial, pushing it all on what they say is just a small portion of fans who are very loud that didn't like it. That's given us way more power than we actually should have. The truth is, the reason that people watched my videos, the reason that people watched other videos like that, is because it resonated with them because they felt the same way about the show. If people didn't like what I said about the show, if they thought what I was saying was absolutely retarded and stupid, they wouldn't be coming back. They'd be downvoting my videos. But what so many of us were saying while we reviewed this show and pointed out the clear problems with it, the vast majority of people who did give this show a chance, they felt the same way. That's why your bullshit dog shit show got canceled. But please keep blaming the fans. That's what you did halfway through the series. That didn't work out well. That even drove more people away that would have given it a chance. Never any ownership, never any accountability. Instead, well, it can't be our fault. It must be those bigoted, racist fans out there. What an absolute joke. But I'd expect nothing less from Lucasfilm and the actresses that they hire. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.